Afternoon, everybody. Today I was gonna do one other one, but then I saw this one, so I think I'm gonna do this one first. This one is New Look 6292. It does have the shirt and pants. So I'm gonna be doing this one. I'm gonna be doing it, I think, in a 12. I'm gonna be using cotton. This is the material. You do need some elastic. I think if you're doing the pants. Some ribbon, or you can make, like bias tape to go around. And one button. So I'll get this cut out, get the material cut out, and then we'll start sewing. Also, I'm going to do the monthly drawing for a free pattern once a month. If you hit the thumbs up, you're subscribed, I'll pick a winner every month. I'll try to do one pattern that we haven't done yet, so that way I can do a tutorial on it, and that pattern will be sent out, and then you'll know how to do it. But if anybody's interested in any spring dresses, I think I'm gonna do at least one pattern. I don't really wear dresses that much, but I'll make one just to have it if we go out or something. But let me get this all cut out, and then we'll start. So it's 62.92. So we'll get started in a few. Okay, evening everybody. We're gonna start sewing the 62.92. This is the top. I am doing C, so I will not have pockets on it. We do need to make some loops, and we'll make a tie, or you can use ribbon, which goes right here. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is stay stitch number 5. That's the front piece at the neck. And we do have darts to make after. So I'm going to get my safety pin on here for my front piece as my guide. And keep your pattern pieces out, as we will be marking some dots. So let me get my safety pin in. And I was telling one of the subscribers today, when you're making pants, my aunt always taught me that the elephant ears are sleeping. So that means they're coming forward when you sew your pocket. So if you remember the elephant ears are coming to sleep, then you know your pockets are right. Okay, let me get, this is only a 1/4 inch around your neck, your stay stitch. Okay, so we have to make the darts on the front. I'm making a size 12. So there's 3 dots you need to mark. Just follow your line. And pin your dart piece right here, and that will keep it straight. Okay, and then 12. And you're going to do this on both sides. Here's 1, 2. Let's see my other one. Okay. Mark your other one. And then you're just going to match up these dots. And put a pin where your top dot is. And then you'll sew. Let me get my other one marked. Okay, if you would like to take a ruler, you can also do that. And you just draw a line and connect your dots. And that will also help you get your line straight. Where'd my other little dot go? Did it go through? I think it did. Right there. Okay, fold your material, put a pin in, and then fold your material and match these notches, or the dots. And that's going to give you a good line. And then get where your point is. And pin down. It's kind of sticking up there. Hold on a sec. There's that one. There's that. Okay. And then pin along your dart. To this bottom piece. And then you can take that out. I just pin right in front of it. And then pull it out. And do that to the next side. So to get a really nice dart, what you want to do is start sewing. But before you get to this point, like 1 or 2 stitches before that, you want to be right on that fold and then get off. And that'll give you a really nice dart. If you feel more comfortable, you can take your ruler and draw a line from the beginning all the way to that last point. Like that. And that will give you a sewing line. Okay, let me get my other one matched up and then we'll get sewing. Okay, so I'm all pinned up, ready to sew. And I have my marks on the outside and my pins. So just follow that line and be sure you get off onto the fold, like 1 or 2 stitches before you get off the dart itself. Okay, once you have that done, press your darts downwards. And then get your back piece. So get your back piece. Now some people tie, they leave a long string and they'll tie their darts, the edge of them. Half the time I forget to leave the piece of thread. So what I do is I just take a little piece or a little glue, and this is my quick dry fabric fusion, and I just put, I need a tiny drop on that last thread just to kind of wet it. And it'll dry by the time we need the piece. So get your back piece. And if you're making C like I am, be sure you got it cut at the C line and not the D line. So I just turn mine over. And we're going to stay stitch our back neckline right here. So let me get that done. Okay, with your front and back together, sew your shoulder seams, match your notches, and press at 5/8, or sew at 5/8, I mean. So get everything even. Okay, press your seams open on your shoulder. And then pick up your number 8. And we have to apply some interfacing. So let me get, I did not cut my interfacing yet. So let me go cut my interfacing and I'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna iron this on our piece of material. Now some people get confused and it's facing, interfacing, and fabric. So your facing is going to be the same as your fabric. So just, and your interfacing is what you iron on. But sometimes people get confused and they don't understand the interfacing and facing. So your facing is always material. Your interfacing is what you iron on to make it a little bit stiffer. Okay. So let's get this ironed on. Okay. Straight as you can get it. Okay, I'll get that done. Okay, and the interfacing I use for my clothes is Pellon 880F Soft Shape. Okay, with the piece that has the interfacing on, you're going to turn under 3/8 on the sides and on the bottom. And I just have a little interfacing right here, so I'm just going to trim it off. So turn under 3/8, okay, and I just get my little ruler. And I measure it. Okay, so get that turned down. And then we're going to start making the loops. Okay, get your number 12. And that's for your loops. Fold it in half and press it. Then you're going to sew just a little less than 1/4 of an inch on the raw edge and then turn it to the right side. So I finally did get my little tool, so we'll see how that works tonight. Okay, that worked pretty easy. So I got that all turned. I was trying to see. I think it's in the crochet department because it's a crochet loop turner, if anybody's interested. And it looks like this. And it did work. Okay, so let's iron this out, and then we need to cut these in pieces. Okay, I pressed it. Now all I do is put a chopstick in, just to kind of make it rounded again. So it looks like this. Okay, for C, we need 6 1.5 loops. So I'll go ahead and cut mine, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to do that over again because I was blocking it. So get your pattern number 8. Put it on the side that has the interfacing on. And you're going to mark your dots. But remember, you already took off 3/8 on each side. So what I usually do is I open one side and I get it even. And then you have your dots, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then right down here, this is like 2 stitches right at the bottom, and I just mark that. Okay, then come back, and you have stitching lines. Okay, so it's going to be your stitch line. So what I do is I put a couple little marks on the material, and then I take a ruler and I line them up. So then I know this is my stitching line. Now take your loops, and get a ruler. These have to be 1/4 inch over this stitch line. So put them down and then just measure them. Be sure that they are 1/4 inch. You want the raw edge inside. Okay, now we have to base these on, and I'll be right back. Okay, once you've done your basting, get your front piece. And there's going to be a couple marks that we have to make. Okay, now you're going to match up your small dots, which are essentially your loop, so you can feel them. And here's your bottom piece. So you can either take your pattern and line this up for the stitching line and just make a couple lines across so you kind of know where you're going. And you're just essentially hitting those little dots and coming down. So you can take a ruler and draw your line. I'll have to come in a little bit more. So you can do it that way. But you got to base this top piece, and then they want you to base this down. So I'll do that and just match my dots coming down and then going back up. And then I'll have my stitching line. So I'll get that done. Okay, so I took a ruler and just measured the 3/8 and marked it along my neckline. So then you're going to start basting. Let me get over on this side. It might work better. Okay, so I'm going to start basting this on. So I'm going to do a couple basting stitches right there. Now I'm going to start going down my seam line where my dots are. And like I said, you'll be able to feel them. And then just keep going down till you get to your next one. Okay, then I'm down to this one. And just be sure that basting thread is going through the edge of your loop, because that's where you're going to sew it. Okay, so just keep doing that. And then right here, there's a couple stitches, and then come back up and then around this part of your neck to here. So you'll be all boom, 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 stitched up. Okay, and then we'll stitch it. Okay, and I'm going to baste a little of the bottom down, just to be sure that it stays down. Not tonight. There. So I'm just going to grab this little bottom piece here. And just go along here. This will keep this straight. So when we're sewing it, So just that bottom hem, I'm sewing. So just like that. And that'll keep it nice and straight. And be sure everything's nice and straight. You don't have any creases or wrinkles. And once we get this sewn, we'll cut down the middle. I just want to be sure everything is straight, matched up. Okay. I think that looks good. I'm just going to put a couple pins on the side. Okay, so around the neck, it's 3/8. Come down, pivot, do 1 or 2 stitches, pivot, come back up. Be sure you're catching those loops. You'll feel it. You want to catch the end of those loops. And then back up, come back this way, 3/8. And I'll be right back. Okay, after you do that, slice down the middle and take your basting thread out. And after you take your basting thread out, go to the front part, pull this apart, and check your loops and be sure you got them all sewn in good. Let me get this off and I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that, just be sure you have your little bottom piece and check your loops. I got basting thread in my loops still. Check them, be sure that they're all pushed in. Okay, let me try to see this side. Okay, yeah. Okay, now get your back piece, your neck. Now to reinforce your loops, you can actually sew over your stitching again. Now that I know I've caught everything, I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna go down here, not on my neck part, but down where my loops are. I'm just gonna stitch that one more time before we put the neckband on. Okay, press your neckband wrong sides together, then come back to your table. We have to make a couple marks. I need to get my other pin. I keep picking up the wrong one. All right, 12. There's my notches. And then 12. So mark them. Okay, your small dots that you just made is the shoulder. And you have your 2 notches on your back. So pin them up. And you're gonna sew this at a 3/8. We're gonna overlap right here. It will overlap it, and that's what it's supposed to do. Okay, shoulder seam right here, and shoulder right there. Okay, so pin this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's mine. And see, I'm overlapping. So a 3/8 seam all the way around. And then, see, once we get done, we're gonna turn this, press and stitch this folded edge, which will bring, you're gonna bring this out, and that will make a nice neck band. All right, let me get this done. Okay, once you have that done, it wants us to layer. So we're gonna take off, layer the seam, so we have to take a little off. So I'm gonna take off some of this top. And then we'll go to the ironing board after, and we'll press this down. This needs to be open. I'm gonna cut my corner just a little. We'll poke that out. And then this neckline or neckband will go underneath that, and it'll give you a nice band. So just take off, you know, a little of the material. Like I said, I'm taking the upper part here all the way around, and then we'll go and press it. Okay, and I'm just going to use my little pointer when I point these out. And then the next one. Okay, so now we're gonna iron this down, this neckband. And if you have to do the roll to get that seam right on top. And pin it. And then we're gonna catch the seam underneath. And once we get that done, we're going to come back, do the exact same thing here, and stitch here across and back up. So the front will have a square. All right, let's go do that. Okay, once you start getting this folded down and you're happy with it, start pinning it. So I got it right on that line. So just start pinning it after you iron it. Okay, once you're done pinning and you're satisfied, start sewing on the outside, being sure that you're getting this folded edge. And this has to be underneath. That edge of that neckband has to be underneath here. So just go around. Be sure it's as straight as you can get it. And sew up. Okay, come back and press your neck. And then we're going to work on the front to square that off. And then we'll sew up our sides and do our sleeves and our lace. Okay, so the same thing we did for the neck, we're gonna do here. And just get those seams the best you can. I might have to take like a little pin and try to work out my seam a little. You can just kind of pull it up. Okay. And then press and pin. And they're gonna want us to base this around just so we have our stitching line. So let me get this done and get it stitched up, and then I'll show you. Okay, if you don't want to hand baste, you can pin baste. And what that is you feel where your edge is. And you want to go about 1/8 in front of that. All the way down. You have your pins going the direction that you're sewing. So if you start here, you want your pin here so you can pull it out. And then just come down and pull out your next pin and sew down. Come to the next pin, pull it out. The next pin, pull it out. Pivot, pull, 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 pivot, and pull, 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 and end up 3/8 at your neckline. Okay, let me get that done, and I'll be right back. I gotta get a fresh cup of coffee. While I'm doing that, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It's free. It helps the channel. Also like, share, and I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that done, you're going to sew up your side seams. Match your notches. And I think there's a dot we have to make. Let me check. Back. This is for C. Maybe not. Let's see on the instructions. Stitch back. Back stitch at large dots to. It shows one, but I don't see it on the pattern. Yes, it's on the front. That's where you're gonna stop sewing. Okay, so it's right here on the front. Line up everything. we're gonna do that. I'm doing 12. Okay. And then on this side, line up your bottom. Then we back stitch there. Okay, let's get that done. Here you have your dart going downwards. Okay. And I'll get these sewn up. This is a 5/8 on the side. And don't forget to back stitch. Now get your sleeves, and we're gonna ease stitch from notch to notch. And ease stitching is just make your stitch longer, and that way you'll be able to pull on the string to make this fit. So I usually go down probably about 340 or 3.5. So notch to notch. Once you get that done, don't forget to put your setting back. Okay, sleeve ease, we did that. Okay, so now we're gonna stitch underarm seam. Okay. So we're gonna put our sleeves together. Match your notches. We're gonna sew these up, and then we're gonna turn under a 4th and press under a 4th on the raw edge, stitch close to inner pressed edge. So it's a narrow edge, so they want us to a 4th, and then at the crease we turn again. I'm gonna when I get that sewn up, I'm just gonna put my sleeve on and be sure. I might have to take like an inch. So it's a 5/8 seam also. Once you have the first 1/4 inch turned under, come back, do it again, and clip or pin, whichever one. And then when you get both of them done, measure them to be sure they're the same length. Forget to open up your seam. Now these are going to be a skinnier sleeve. They're not going to be a sleeve like this. They're going to be a little bit skinnier. Okay, I'll get this one done and sewn up. Okay, be sure to measure before you sew. Okay, get your shirt, and with right sides together, you're going to put your sleeves on, matching your notches and your seams. And I always put my sleeve in half, and I mark where my top is. So I know exactly that's my top. Okay, so get these put on. It's a 5/8 seam. And I usually do like 3/8 again underneath. I'm just gonna go double on that stitch because these are a different type sleeve. They're a little bit tighter than normal. So I just want to give myself enough room. So, okay, let's get these put on and I will be right back. So when you get up to the top, or almost the top, you're gonna have to start easing with your string. Okay, so right in here. And then you're gonna get your other side and start easing that. If I can get it. And just make it so your top is on your shoulder. And that's why I always mark mine, so I know that that line right there is my top. And then I can work around and get this all in. Okay, I got mine done. Just be sure this inside piece is nice and straight. Okay, there's no buckling. Okay, then sew it up and then just sew the same seam under your arm. Okay, and like I mentioned before, keep your hand under here so you know everything is flat. Okay, once you're done with both, you can trim some of your seam allowance. I still have to do my other one. And then we have the tie or the lace, and then the hem, and then we're done. So let me get this sleeve on. Okay, now we're gonna make the lace. If you want to use ribbon, that's fine. I'm just gonna use the material because I have it. So you're gonna sew these two ends together, and you're essentially gonna make like bias tape. So let me get these two sewn together. Okay, so come to your iron, open up that seam. And then on each end, fold it, you know, like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. And then you're going to press this in half all the way down. Okay, and once you get that all done, come back and turn this down to almost that crease and press that all down. And then come back up and press this one all the way down, almost at the crease, and then you're gonna just turn it all together and press. So let me get this one done, and then after you get that done, you're gonna just sew it right down. Okay, come back to your sewing machine and you're gonna sew this up when it's this thin, what I usually do is I'll start like 1.5 inches, and then I'll sew all the way down. And then I'll come back and I'll pick it up, and then I'll start sewing all the way down. Get your shirt, and we're gonna lace these up from the bottom up. I might need my little tweezers. Let's see if I can see that. There we go. Okay. And now we're gonna do our hem. So our sides, we're gonna go down. That's why I didn't have you trim your sides, because we're gonna do like a V. So just be sure these are even. And just keep threading them through. And then after you get them threaded through, if you want to knot the ends, you can, so they won't come out. Okay, let me get this done, and I'll be right back. Once you get that done, I had to use my tweezers for a couple of them. Just knot your ends. If you hear that barking, that is my parrot. He thinks he's a dog. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be really pretty. Okay, so there's that part. Okay, so now for your hem. Ooh. I'm going to turn my shirt inside out. So here's our 5/8 seam right here on our side. Let me see, I might do it this way. Okay, let me get my iron. Open up your seam, but keep going down at that 5/8. As best as you can. I went a little fat right there. Okay, so where this point is, turn it under so it matches that crease, or hits that crease. And do that on both sides. And then do your other side. And you can pin these, just a couple pins. Then we're gonna sew from here up to this point. Then we're gonna kind of square it, just 1 or 2 stitches, and come back down. So it's to this edge, sew to this edge, and then down. Oh, he's a crazy bird tonight. Okay, so do that on both sides, and I'll be back. Okay, while I'm filling my bobbin, please subscribe, and I'll be right back. I knew I wasn't going to make it through. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is turn 1/4 inch. You might want to put this on or put it up against you and see how much you want to hem it. So make about 1/4 inch. Turn that over. And then I'm just bringing it up 1 inch. So you got the 2 sections to do. So get your little ruler. And either pins or clips. And measure. Press. And then we'll sew this up. Okay, everybody, here it is. I like this one. This is a really nice shirt. Okay, so that was New Look 6292. I would say it was pretty easy. Don't forget about the free drawing for a free pattern. Just put thumbs up if you would like to be entered. Also, please share, like, and subscribe. That will also put you in. And tomorrow, well, let me see. I bought a bunch of material. So I did get some more blue for pants. And then I have this one. I bought this one. And this one. And some green. So I think I'm going to do the pantsuit. Make the pants out of the green and a shirt out of this. I don't know if I'll do this pants or not. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to look through as we have about 72 patterns now to do. But anyways, that's about it. Thank you again for spending your time with me. I hope this helped somebody out. And I will see you all tomorrow. You have a good night.